So after creating our design for the calculator, we're now going to add a functionality to our calculator. So let's go to the source code in this form. So here, inside the public class form, first thing we're gonna do is to create some variables. So first we're gonna create two variables for the container of our value, or in which our two values will be stored. So let's just name our variable num1 and num2. So dim num1 dim 2. After that, we're going to create another variable for our operator. So just name it operator. So dim operator. Now, as you can see, there's a square bracket. So the purpose of the square bracket is so that we can use our symbol character as our identifier. So set it as string. So next we're going to create two variables. So the first variable is a boolean variable. So this variable will be used to check if the input values has decimal on it. Basically, it will check if it has if it is decimal. It will check if it has a decimal point. So let's just name it has decimal. Next, another variable is in a temporary variable in which where we're going to put a temporary value for our square root operation. So then just name it temp. Set it as double. So we're done on declaring our variables. So let's go back to our design. So now we're going to start on adding some code or functions to our buttons. So let's start with the number buttons. Also remember the design name of your input text box. So let's start. So what you are going to do is just call on the design name of your input text box. So for me, it was input text. So just now just then input text Now here's the most important part. Going to add a function, a sender function. So here I'm going to put ampersand and then the sender function, sender text. So what is the purpose of this? Basically, the purpose of this is that as soon as you click on the button, a value will be sent or will be input in the text box. So that value depends on what is the text name of your button. So it will just send the text name of your button, and then it will going to be input in the input text box. So what you are going to do next is just copy the same code to all the number buttons. So after that, we're going to proceed on the operator buttons. So let's see what is the function of this code. So the first line, this code basically it will take the input value of the text box and will convert it into convert it into numeric value. The next one, this code basically it will make the text box empty or clear. So this line is gonna make, because of the focus function, it will just gonna focus on the text box again, so that uh, you can input more value to the text box. And the last one is this one. So this one basically it will just gonna set the operator variable to the corresponding operator dot button. We're just gonna copy this code and then we're gonna use it to the other operators. So now let's proceed to the other buttons. So let's uh, proceed to the square root button. So here in this code, the function of this is it will get the value, the input values in the text box, and then converts it into double values, and then store it to temp variable. After that, the second line of code, using the system.square square root, it will going to get the square root of the value and then store it again to the temp variable. After that, this third line of code, it will going to just convert it again back to string and then put the values back into the input text box. And then this last one, basically it will just set the variable to false value. So let's continue. So here we're going to proceed with the equals button. So first we're going to initialize some variable. We just name it as result. So we're going to be the variable container for our result. Let's set it as double. With that, we're gonna call on our second variable, which is the num2. Then again, I'm going to get the value of the input text So here we use select case conditional statement. So here we used operator as our identifier on what case we're going to select. So here we have case 1. So if case is equals to this, the plus sign, then it will perform this operation, which we're going to add the value of the first input and the second input, then set it and then put the value into the result variable. After that, with this input text, that text is equals to result to string, it will basically just convert the value of result variable to string and then put it to input value, input text box or input text to display it on the text box. So from here, we're just going to copy the code. We're just going to copy this code and then change its operation according to what is the operator. So here we are done. This is the final code for our equals button. So next we'll just add a function to our clear button. So basically it will, with this code, it will just gonna set the value of the input text box into an empty string in which it will gonna clear the input input value in the text box. So let's just copy this code, then at the off button we're just gonna use the same code. Since it is just an application, we don't really have a physical calculator in which we can really turn it off. So here we're just gonna add the same code so that it will empty the text box, pretending that it is turned off. Now let's add the value to our decimal button. Let's add some function added. So in this code, here we have an if condition. So basically this string or this line of code, it will just gonna check if a period or a decimal point string or character exists in the input text box. If it does, then it will gonna check if its position is greater than 0. Basically the use of this int string, it will just gonna check the position of the specific string, which is the decimal point. It will gonna return its position, and then it will gonna check its position if it is greater than 0. If it is, then it will gonna exit sub and do nothing. It means that it already have a decimal point. If it's not, then it will continue this code. So basically we're just gonna add a period to the existing value in the input text box, and then it will gonna return its value again to the input text box to display it. So now let's proceed to the negative and positive button, or the negative key. So this code statement is, if input text box that starts with a negative sign, then it will perform the below. So basically it will just gonna check if it already have a negative sign. So if it has negative sign, then it will just it will going to remove it. Then if it doesn't have, then it will going to put a negative sign in front of it. So with this function, or this code, the function of our button are going to be toggling between negative and positive value. So if you click the button, we're gonna toggle between either negative or positive value. So now let's proceed to the backspace button. So with this code, so if the length of the values inside the text box is greater than 0, then you're gonna perform this line of code, in which using the substring, you're going to get the length of the values inside the text box, and then um, subtract one value to it, and then return the value of the length of the string, and then return it again to the input text box. And that way it will remove the last value, or the recently inputted value from the text box. So there you go. We are done at creating the calculator and adding some the functions of it. So let's try to run the calculator. So there we will be working calculator. So thank you for watching. Peace out.